Hi, I'm Joe.
And I'm Digna.
Welcome to Relationships.
We're a couple having a few.
Good evening.
Hi!
I was hoping she would do it. We've got a special episode. Today is just a couple of days after Veterans Day, and I feel like I needed to do my part as a veteran to talk about Veterans Day. And what better way to do that is to go on the side of the road and pick up a random homeless veteran. Hello, homeless vet.
How are we doing today?
He's very friendly.
Yes, he's very, it's like he's known us for a while. I'm just kidding. He's not a homeless vet. I know that's probably not the greatest joke ever, but he is a vet. So we're halfway there. He hasn't shaved in a while, so maybe he's a little homeless looking. But this is actually my father-in-law, Carlos Vargas.
Hello.
The progenitor of Digna's line. I don't know how that works. Digna's dad. How about that? Does that work?
Hi, Dad.
Hello.
Yeah, so we decided to do an episode. He is about to be our neighbor. He has recently closed on a townhouse near where we live, and he's going to be, I'd say a stone's throw away, but I don't think I could throw a stone that far.
I can
That's
throw the
pretty
ball
far.
over that hill.
You can throw a football over the mountains over there? Yeah. Maybe a slingshot away?
Slingshot.
I might be able to slingshot a rock that far. Yeah, so that's about how far he's going to be from us.
AR-15 would be nice.
Well,
That
then
would make it there.
Well, that extends the range, you know. I mean, but yeah, so he's pretty close, needless to say. So we've just kind of done. I picked him up yesterday. We did, packed up some stuff. But he's living, or I guess soon to be formally living. I don't know how that works, but he's the artist formerly known as St. Augustine resident.
A St. Augustine.
Yeah, is it St. Augustine or Augustinian?
Augustinian
Augustinian
is the correct.
St. Augie Doggian.
Yes.
Yes.
That's my boy, my son, my son. If you don't know who Augie Doggy is, it's because I'm old and you're not.
And I'm older.
And he is older. And so what we're going to do here is just kind of have a little relationships episode. You can't have relationships without sips.
Yes.
I feel like
And I-
that's...
And I just had a sip.
we would just have relations.
No, that is not the show that we need to be putting out for people.
Relations.
Welcome to Relations. Bow, chicka, wow, wow. So what we're drinking here is a beer. By the way, I just have to kind of throw a little mini plug. My other podcast, Drinking and Driving, is where I go to breweries and I interview the staff there and just kind of talk about beer and drink beer. Mostly that one. And
Learn the history of the brewery.
and have a good time. Exactly. It's all about the breweries. It's all about, if you're like, man, I wish I knew more about beer and also the people who make beer, because beer doesn't just come from the beer tree that you like milk for beer. There's a process. So
I didn't know that.
yeah, exactly. There you go. So
There's no milk tree. Beer tree?
there's no beer tree or milk tree for that matter. I mean, milk does come from some trees, but it's not actual milk. Milk of the poppy.
I was just thinking almond milk, but okay.
Well, that's nut juice. That's what almond milk is.
Yeah.
I said they call it almond milk because the name nut juice just
Didn't stick.
Just doesn't really sound that good.
I agree.
But yeah, so I went up to Cocoa Village and I talked to the guys up at Dirty Ore on my other show earlier this week, and I am drinking one of their beers that I got that I had during the episode. Did I drink it? Maybe I didn't drink it during the episode, but I wanted it and I brought it home. And the name of this beer is
A Mostritza, which is a Schwarzbier style beer.
so dark.
It's very dark.
It's a dark, because Schwarz just means like black or dark in German, because I know all sorts of German, I'm sure. Have me a little sip here.
It's actually pretty tasty.
I can definitely attest to that. I don't know who wrote, by the way, on this crowler that I got. I don't know if it was Paul or Chris, but it pretty much looks with your handwriting like you wrote moisturizer on this crowler. So
Your moisturizer is delicious.
I mean, I'm gonna say if I
is.
had a dry throat, if I was a little parched, this is a pretty good throat moisturizer.
But at what time would you be drinking moisturizer for your parched throat?
I mean,
After a day of building a bed.
An IKEA bed.
Yes.
All foreign things.
Yes. Yeah, what we just did, because like I said, my father-in-law is moving down here to our area. We put the bed together, we got couches, we did all this, so we still have a little bit of stuff that we have to pack up and bring down here. But yeah, so we just had a lot of
bonding.
Yes, male bonding.
with no points of frustration whatsoever, right?
No.
It was all very smooth.
Literally, the only frustration was trying to put the nut on that one screw or the one bolt there, and just the way it's done, you have to have like a baby's hands. But I've got like
adult dexterity.
Exactly, but adult dexterity. So you have to be some sort of like baby genius, which I know is like a 1990s, early 2000 movie. But yeah, so you have to be baby genius to do this. But instead, I'm dumb adult, and with my
we have fat fingers.
Yeah, sausage hands do not work in this. It sounds delicious, but it's not very good.
IKEA is not made in a country that is known for its sausage finger people. I imagine them being very dainty and delicate, and I don't know, happy about everything.
Well, everything. The mattress he has a. The name, it even has a tag on it that says the name. I'm not even going to guess at what it said.
Oh, the mattress is on there too.
Yeah, the mattress cover, the everything, so it all has its name.
Wasn't it like Arapaho or something like that?
It was something.
Arapaho.
It was something like
Denver.
It was like Hobag. I swear to God.
Stop it.
I swear the name of the mattress was like something like Hobag.
Oh my gosh.
It was like ridiculous like that. I was like, what? So, well, you know what?
And it came from Korea, by the way.
Yeah, so yeah, it was a Korean.
Was it
IKEA.
Hovag?
Hovag. That's what it was.
Hovag?
What did I say? I said Hobag, right? It's a Hovag.
It is a Hovag. It's a Hovag.
I'm sorry, but you know what? It looks like Hovag. So there you go.
Well, now I want to hear Google Translate.
So that'll keep you nice and comfortable on those cold, lonely nights. Your very own Huvag. Once again, I did mention this past week, or just a couple days ago, was Veterans Day. And whether you know it or not, having listened to the show, Digna and I are both veterans. And once again, the not homeless vet, but because he's between homes. He lives in one, but he's moving out.
I would say he's the opposite of a homeless vet. He's got two homes.
He's a transient, which is another word for a homeless. So whatever. That works. But yeah, so my father-in-law, Carlos, he was in the military. Let's get your little stats. Military, when did you join? How long were you in?
Well, I joined in 1988 of May. I did the delay entry program. My first stint, 5 years, was in the U.S. Army. And I had the distinct pleasure of working with the 2nd 17th Air Cavalry in Fort Campbell, Kentucky. From there, they saw I was having too much fun, so they decided to send me to the Republic of South Korea. And
which is where you can go to the IKEA store and get one of those Hovags if you want.
Exactly.
It all comes full circle.
And probably hire somebody who could put the thing together in 5 minutes.
Exactly.
As opposed to
better dexterity, skinnier fingers.
Yeah. And from there, I came back to the U.S.
By the way, you were at Camp Humphreys.
Correct.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
I wasn't 100% sure, but yeah.
I was with the B Company, 3rd of the 501st, which was an attack battalion. Got to do a lot of fun stuff, training with the reservists that would fly in. I was active duty at the time. And it was really interesting culture shock coming from the U.S. and going there and not understanding their language. But, we made the best of it. Had a lot of good food. Ate dog 2 times.
I was going to ask, what'd you
Ate dog 2 times.
Ate dog 2 times?
Yeah.
I hear it's pretty rough.
Yeah.
So I talk to a lot of people and get mixed reactions on this. Kimchi. Yay or nay?
Love it.
There you go. So
have you ever had mine?
Had what?
Have you ever had my kimchi?
No, I have not.
What? Digna has made kimchi quite a few times, and it's pretty legit. I mean,
is it close to the stuff we had in Korea?
Legimchi.
It's there. It is like as Korean as you can be without actually being Korean. But yeah, it's pretty good.
Yep. And, I've always been a very flexible person as far as food is concerned. Like when we would step off the base, we would go to the soju huts. And there you could have gizzards, kimchi, and a big bowl of rice
Sounds
for
delicious.
$2. And of course, most of the guys that were with me, were like,
Gizzards, I don't even know what that is.
yeah, and they were terrified. And of course, the locals got to know me after a year of being there, and they really appreciated it that, that I liked their food.
I'd be all right with it. We should get some gizzards tomorrow.
I think food is kind of like, you want to talk about the international language or something. I think like food, if you show somebody that you appreciate their cooking, like
Yes.
you've just made a friend. Like,
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, I'm happy like when I cook something, I'm like, okay, I think it's pretty good, and people are like, wow, this is really good. I mean, it makes you feel good. So I get that. So that's that
Transcends language.
Exactly. That crosses any language barrier right there.
Right. And it shows to the world that, we're not the snooty Americans that, oh no, I only eat, cordon bleu. It's like, okay, so, we're going to have goat meat. Okay, let's have goat meat.
Go ahead.
I'll eat McDonald's.
Yeah. I've ran into those folks where they're like, you're going to do what? You're going to eat goat meat? You're crazy. I'm like, well, it happens to be really good.
And I also know the folks who did go overseas and did only eat McDonald's.
That's true.
I know people who've traveled internationally, and while they were traveling, that's all they did. By the way,
But not out of a curiosity of what every McDonald's has, because we've done that too.
Oh,
Like, every McDonald's has something different.
Yeah, like when we were in...
This was like straight up like, I don't want anything
forget-
but McDonald's.
I think when we were in Italy, they had beer at McDonald's, which I thought was...
Yeah.
Novel.
Yeah, exactly. It was novel, yeah.
Yep. And I've been to a McDonald's in Saudi Arabia, which was really fascinating. And the reason why I went there, because hearsay said that it was a restaurant type environment. So you actually sat down.
Forks.
The guy would bring you the menu. You would order from the menu.
Weird.
You would get...
So it wasn't like fast
So-
food. It was like sit
restaurant.
down.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. And it was, totally fascinating. Silverware.
But they weren't handing you a hamburger, right? Like, what did they...
Well, they in Saudi Arabia, they do a lot of fish. So, they would have like
Filet-o
fish
I know
fillet,
what that is, yeah.
and it was amazing,
Interesting.
with the curly fries. I don't know why they made curly fries over there, but
I would say
Because they're fancy.
I would say the closest thing I ever did when I was in Kuwait, I ate at a TGI Fridays, and like iced tea was
Like in the city, though.
But yeah, like iced tea was like the hard beverage that you could get there.
yes,
Like
that's correct.
it's-
Yeah,
yeah, no
When you're
alcohol
in that
there.
part of the world.
Because you think TGI Fridays, you're like, yeah, they got the... No, it's just...
Yep.
Is that where you learned to drink Arnold Palmer's, like, this is
That's the good
serious
stuff. Yeah,
stuff.
that's the rough stuff. I think there was a little bit of a orange. There was a little bit of peel in that one. Like that was a little rough. But you know what's not rough is this beer that I'm sipping on.
Yes.
and it's disappearing
quite nice.
very quickly from my glass.
So you were in
Hope
the
we have
Army
some
for
more.
5 years. What did you do after that? I know you got out for a bit. I mean, I'm relatively familiar with the story, but like as an overview.
She doesn't know it. She lived it.
That's right. Yes, that's when I joined the Air Force Reserve in Patrick Air Force Base. At the time, it was the
That's before it was
304
the Space Force base,
right,
right?
Long before.
way long before. Actually, it was around 1993, and I joined a combat search and rescue unit, which I had the good fortune to be allowed because of my mechanical experience. They were happy to embrace me. And then with them, I literally went around the world. Turkey, South America, Jamaica, Colombia.
Ooh, I want to take you, Bermuda, Bahama. You went to the Bahamas too.
I sure did.
No,
I
but I
sure
think
did.
about
We got weathered in, and we were forced to land
Pobrecito.
in Atlantis, and we were there for 4 days to wait for the storm
A big
to
old
blow
building?
over. Yes. Yep.
I mean, it's more than just a building. I mean,
It's a giant
I remember just being a
megalith
huge
of a hotel.
hotel. Yeah.
Yeah. But those were the good sides. The bad side was since we're combat search and rescue, all of the skirmishes that we've been involved in, we have to go there, deploy before the jets go in, before the Navy goes in. And what we have to do is we have to set up a rescue site. So if a pilot gets shot down, we're there with our helos, with our pararescue guys. And so we have to be on standby. It's kind of creepy at times because, when you watch these SAM missiles flying over your head,
Good times.
you're sitting there going like, wow. And the rocket
SAM is surface to air, by the way.
Yeah. And you
Surface
sit there
to
and
air
you're like, oh, the rockets are red glare.
I mean,
and the bombs bursting in the air.
I mean, it's funny because people talk about the.
I can see the inspiration.
You're like, oh my
for the
gosh.
Star Spangled
People are like,
Banner.
oh my gosh, I can see a shooting star. I was like, bro, I've seen just missiles like.
Yep.
I've seen all the shooting stars I need.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm from the Space Coast, and today we saw like a gorgeous.
It was a beautiful rocket.
Gorgeous rocket launch. I mean, it was just like as the sun was starting to
I
go
don't think
down.
I've ever seen the clouds that colorful.
Because you know how
Yeah,
the
because the sun was setting.
Yeah.
yeah as the sun's setting, you get your purples and your oranges, like you get the those gorgeous colors in the clouds. So that's exactly what happened. There's obviously a trail after the rocket, and this trail had all of those colors. The lower levels were those deep reds, and it was almost like a rainbow.
It did.
Like it
Look
went
at
from
that.
red
Yeah.
all the way up to the higher parts. It was blue, and it was gorgeous. I mean, it was just a really neat rocket launch. So
Yeah,
yes,
we've got another one going up on Sunday that will be manned and womaned.
it will be personed.
It will be person.
Yes. Yes. We have to keep it gender
Personed.
correct.
George Carlin did a thing about the political correctness, and he said that old term. You're like, oh yeah, that guy, he's a man's man, but it's politically correct is he's a people person.
Exactly. Yep.
That's which are not
They're not the same thing.
Not even close.
Yeah. It's amazing.
So you did your stint in the army, and here you are getting close to, hey, is it time to re-enlist? Did you re-enlist? If so, why? If not, why? What'd you do?
I re-enlisted once in the Army because my original enlistment was for 3 years. Then I had the great fortune of going to Fort Eustis, Virginia. That was great. It's cold. A little Florida boy don't like that cold weather. But it was great. I got to go to the test pilot school there to do the ground portion. And that's why the Air Force found me so attractive. Because, I had so much.
It's not the way his butt looked in BDUs.
Yeah. And plus, I got to wear a flight suit. So that was kind of cool. I got to be. Yes, exactly. A green onesie.
Footy pajamas.
And so, with that said, when I joined the combat search and rescue team, it was kind of cool because when we were stateside, we had to provide security for all the shuttle missions that were going by.
Mm-hmm.
So I have an enormous amount of stickers that the astronauts would always give you for participating in the missions. And it was interesting because, I also got to tour with some of the astronauts and see the NASA facility and see this monolithical building. It was just amazing. I was like, wow. The only thing I could say is God bless America.
Mm-hmm.
And also, why'd I just get a sticker? Damn it!
Sticker. You guys won't let me take the shuttle around the block a couple of times.
But it was kind of cool because a lot of times when the shuttle would land here at Kennedy Space Center, we'd have to be there to provide security once again. And on 4 occasions, the shuttle actually landed over our helicopters.
Oh, that's nice.
And it's amazing because when it comes into the atmosphere, it has no power.
Yeah, it's a glider. Yeah.
Right. It's a very heavy
airplane.
glider. You could hear the auxiliary power unit,
Mm-hmm.
which is still powering all the gadgets and whiz things that
Charging
they
their
have.
cell phones.
Yeah, exactly. And hey, honey, I'll be home in about an hour.
And when the pilot says you're allowed to turn your
exactly. Once they get below
cell
10,000
phone back
feet,
on.
Yeah. So, it was great, but then there were ugly times where I had to go to very not nice places. Talil, Iraq, northern Turkey, which borders Syria. That was
sandy to say the least.
yeah. And everybody hates you there, but you're there to protect our pilots, whether the Navy, the Air Force, or Apache helicopters that are flying around. I got to do Northern Watch, I got to do Southern Watch. You're basically working your butt off.
When you think of the desert, they tell you, how hot it is, which it gets blistering hot, but it gets darn cold there as well. So darn is cold. That is the nicest way I can say. Now, I will say it's not necessarily like that day that it's like 130 degrees during the day. It doesn't get to like 60 that night, but when it's like 90 degrees during the day, that's a cold day. That's when it gets to those like just above freezing temperatures. So
yes.
Correct.
And it's also the time of year when it rains.
Yeah, and it rains. So
yeah,
like they finally get a rainy season. You finally get some reprieve from the sand blowing in your face. Except you're also freezing your bag ass off.
Yeah, you can't get that rain in August. No.
Yep.
Don't be crazy.
And the hailstorms. Oof, the hailstorms.
Yeah, the hailstorms. The hailstorms used to wreak havoc on us because
I'm sure
we had a
being
very limited
Oof.
amount of space. So when the aircraft were on the ground and still on alert status, which means, a pilot goes down, we got to run out. So what we would have to do is we would literally have tow bars on the aircraft and run them in to the hangar as best we can. And of course, the very teeny hangar, it's not American standards. So we'd have to kind of rotate the rotor blades to get this one in and
just
get
squeeze it in.
Exactly.
Grease it, just get it in.
And then, of course, when you hear the horn, now you got to work your way back out, and the flight crew's coming out. And
now by tow bar, you mean you were physically like pushing and pulling this thing?
Yes.
Like you were using this as a joystick.
pretty much.
Okay. It wasn't like a truck
keep in
doing
mind,
this.
No, it was a truck.
Oh, it was. Okay.
So he joined in 88, and we've gotten up to, just because I know when he talked about Iraq, so now we've gotten up to about 02, 03.
Mm-hmm.
That's when he was over in Iraq. So how long? So obviously, take off your shoes, count on your fingers and toes. He was in a minute or two. So after, so he did your 5 years of active duty Army.
Yes.
And then the rest of it was like a reserve. Some of it was like you were sometimes were more active than others, but it was still like a reserve capacity.
The status was actually Air Force Reserve Technician, which basically you are a full-time reservist. So I would show up to work every day, whether work was in Patrick Air Force Base or work was in Incirlik, Turkey. I was there. So it was an interesting ride.
Obviously, you were in long enough, you got to retire.
Yes, got a blue card.
The old blue card, which is funny. I think it's really funny because I remember when I first joined the Army, you have the green card, like, hey, I'm in the military now. I got my green card. Not that green card, because but I got my green.
You're legal.
Yeah, as far as I know.
Right.
I mean, I'm not adopted.
But are you?
Or is she? She? No.
We'll have to call Maury on this.
Yeah, exactly.
The lie detector says.
But yeah, so you get your green card, but then they switched over to this new card that looks more like a driver's license, the CAC card,
Mm-hmm.
So, but then I see a retiree card. It looks more like the card from 20 years ago,
card,
when I first joined. So it's like they went from this, like, you get this black and white card, like the picture is black and white and very pixely looking, and then it's like, all right, we're switching to this cool new card. And then the cool new card is like, wow, that's a really good looking picture of me. That's me, it's color and all that stuff. And it's like, oh, you're retired? Back to the old pixelated, 1988 picture.
They just want to remind you of your time, when you were active.
And they're in the process of changing that, by the way. So hopefully here within sometime soon, it's going to look like a CAT card, but it'll be horizontal instead of vertical, and it'll be blue.
So I know you retired. When did you? So once again, he joined in '88. When did you retire from? You no longer had to put on boots and all that good stuff. When was that? Where was that? How did that work out?
I still wear boots, by the way, and I wake up at 4:30.
Only in the shower.
Yeah, exactly. I retired in 2010 in March, which culminated 23 years of service to our nation. And like I said, I really enjoyed it. I got to go to a lot of nice places and a lot of ugly places. And honestly, I feel that the ugly places made me a stronger person and really appreciate our country because,
Sure.
You go to a place that, it's strictly communist, for lack of a better word, where they have an election and they're like, oh, you're going to be the president.
They have a predetermined winner, regardless
of any sort of voter input.
Yeah, the democratic process. Not really a thing. It's more for show.
Yeah, exactly. So they're little smoke and mirrors. So
Plus, they don't get the cool "I voted" stickers like we get here. So you know what? God bless America.
Yeah. Well, in Afghanistan, I think it was 2 years ago, they actually had you put your thumbprint.
Yeah.
And when they saw the thumbprint, that was like your "I voted." You walk around showing your thumb, and you get the little print.
And that's how we get thumbs up.
I was going to say, that's how they got people to do thumbs up.
Yeah. So, you get to see a lot of things that, I wish more of our folks here would have the gumption. If you want to join the military, police. I'm
just do a little travel, and you can see
exactly
what it's like outside of
yeah.
I think just traveling in general is that's why Desmond he's the man of the world. That's kind of our goal for him, is to get him to places, get him to do cool things.
Yeah, we got him to go to Singapore.
Yeah, and he's been in Nicaragua and he's been to Singapore. He's Mr. Worldwide.
Yes, indeed.
Darling.
And he's only 6.
That's it. So
and he got those things on his bucket list before he was 4.
He's only 6 and he already needs another passport.
Not because he filled it.
No, he ran out of pages.
Yeah.
Or also, you have to get one every 5 years when you're a small child. It could be either or. I'm not sure. So you graduate? Yeah, why not? Graduate.
Yeah.
Well,
I did graduate from Embry-Riddle Maintenance Technology Program.
There you go.
While I was active duty Army.
There you go.
And that was a challenge because, you work 12 hours on the flight line.
And then you go home, work on school stuff.
Yes. And
good times.
Oh yeah, it was. But it was a blessing because through that I was able to acquire my airframe and power plant license, which is certified by the FAA, which really made me a viable commodity.
Florida Air Academy. I remember that FAA. Yep, I know those guys. No, they're not even called that anymore. Else now? Yeah, they've got a different name.
Really?
Yeah, I forget what it's called.
I think it's just Florida Air.
But it's not Florida Air Academy like the way it used to be. It's something slightly different. But
Florida
it's
Air sounds like some kind of airline.
It does. Or an air conditioning thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Florida Air.
Is it hot in your house? Call Florida Air.
Yeah, there you go.
So 2010... You're now no longer required to wear the suit. And so do you decide I'm going to go work at McDonald's, or what's the next step from there?
What I did was I joined an agency called Defense Contract Management Agency, which is a DoD affiliate. And I used my aircraft skills to become a certified aircraft inspector for military aircraft. So
even out of the military, you're still military.
Pretty much.
He's telling the military what to do.
So he changes his BDU pants for jeans.
Correct.
Jorts.
Maybe not jorts.
Yeah.
Some Daisy Dukes out there.
Yeah.
And cowboy boots. He said he still wears boots.
Daisy Dukes and cowboy boots.
He didn't say what kind of boots. Well, we don't know.
Well, I can't wear cowboy boots on the airplane because, we damage it. So, some of these things have stealth coatings and things like that. So, we'd have to wear soft shoes. Some of the aircraft, we'd even have to wear what they call a Tyvek suit, which is basically like a jumpsuit, and you have to put the Tyvek boots because the coating is so sensitive that, you know, you can't scuff it up.
If you don't know what Tyvek is, that's like the it's similar to paper, but you can't tear it. It's like
they make a lot of maps out of it.
And they also, like, if you watch some of those movies where it's like Outbreak and, you know, you know, those kind of things are like a painting type, you know, they cover their body so they don't get like stuff all over them.
Yeah, like what you would use in like a lab. It's like a clean suit.
Like what Dexter used in the TV show to hack up bodies
Also
so he wouldn't
murder.
get blood all over himself.
Right.
Tyvek,
Right.
Everyone knows that now. Now we all know what Tyvek is.
It's a white onesie. That's what it boils down to.
That is somehow made of paper, but somehow keeps you from dying.
Unterrible paper.
Yeah.
It's actually very cool. I remember when people wanted us to print maps on Tyvek paper, it was like they had to have special permission, and it was like, that paper is expensive.
Oh, yeah.
And it wasn't like,
so are those
I'll
suits.
just print. Yeah, I'm sure I'll just print out all these maps for, you know, any Tom, Dick, and Harry. No, it was like.
Meanwhile, the Xerox machine that had Tyvek in it, Digna's putting her face on it and getting.
Well, yeah, I wanted that
It's
picture
like,
to last.
I want a picture of my face squished against the glass of the Xerox
face.
machine. That I said. I mean, come on, this is a children's show, isn't it?
Tyvek
No?
butt cheeks.
Yeah.
By the way, the name of the school now is Florida Prep,
Florida Preparatory Academy.
and it's just considered a boarding school.
So it's still Florida Academy. It's just Preparatory Academy, not Air Academy. So yeah, but it is still boarding school. So
Yeah.
if you've got money and you hate your children, send them there.
Dun dun.
Or cheap.
Yeah, it's not cheap. It is.
No.
far from that.
I'm saying cheap. And
Oh, I thought you said cheap. I was like, in what world is that cheap?
yeah, no, do like what the Hollywood people are doing. Mm-hmm. You know, say,
Just pay their way in.
my son's a pole vaulter. He could pole vault 23 feet, and you know, and he's only 13 years old.
Meanwhile, Florida Prep is like, we don't have a pole
And also, he has
vaulting.
no arms and legs. So figure that out.
They're like, we don't have that program, so it doesn't matter.
Sorry. All right. Well, once again, this is our Veterans Day adjacent episode. All you vets out there, thank you sincerely for what
Thank
you
you
guys
so
have
much,
done,
yes.
guys and gals, everybody. You know, but yeah, we thank you. We're all vets. We've been there. We understand, you know, what it's like and all that stuff. That time away from the family. So we know pretty well what it's like to sacrifice, but which just makes us really understand and appreciate it that much more.
Yeah, and you know, from my personal perspective, and I'm going to jump in here real quick. Being in the Army, then going into the Air Force Reserve, and when we would go into these skirmishes, you know, you have to pick up a Navy pilot, you have to know the Navy lingo, you have to pick a Marine pilot, you have to know the Marine lingo, and it kind of just opened up my eyes to see how cool our military is, where, you know, irregardless, you know, some people are like, oh, you're just a Marine, you're just a this and that, or
But yeah, they all
Army
pick
guy.
on each other for
Yeah.
whatever
Well,
reason.
it's just
You know.
like it's just like your siblings. You kind of pick on your brother or your sister,
Yeah.
or just for you josh on them a little bit. Like, oh, those, you know, all the Marines, they're, you know,
But only you're
their
the one,
MREs
too.
are full of crayons because
Yeah.
they eat crayons.
Yeah,
It's,
but,
you know, we all harass each other, but yeah, it's
but when the deal goes down,
yeah.
you know, I mean, we all coheed, you know, and that was the greatest part of my 23-year experience where, you know, I could see a Marine, I'd be like, hey, you know, thank you so much, you know, and I'm going to pull you out of the water, and we just lost a $50 million jet, but you know what? Your butt's sitting in my aircraft, and you can go home to your mama.
And now I'm going to personally to your face make fun of you about your crayon eating.
I told you shouldn't have eaten crayons while you were flying.
You say, oh man, you've been flying for a long time. You look hungry. How about
Crayon?
some Crayola?
Magenta?
I've got the what are those? Not neon. What's the word they use for like the
Fluorescent?
fluorescent? That's the word. So the fluorescent ones are. Hey, those. I know you guys like the spicy stuff. These are a little extra spicy.
Yeah.
So
Love
we're
you, Marines.
Yep. We love them. I love them all. I tell you what, I had the distinct pleasure of landing on the Nimitz on an aircraft carrier, and that had to be the most scariest place I have been on the planet because, you know, the deck is pitching, we're landing our aircraft. Our aircraft isn't Navy capable where they have the auto folding rotors, so we're standing out in a little corner. They got us here like in what we call the timeout area. And, the captain's briefing us on, where we land if we bring a Navy pilot in. And there's jets taking off. There's jets landing. There's guys loading bombs. And I'm like, to me, it was
very
like
loud.
Very loud.
To me, these Navy ships, they remind me of an anthill.
Like a bustling city.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. Like an anthill where they're just moving and they're da-da-da-da-da, and it seems... And if you're not there, like...
Seems like chaos, but everything's organized.
Exactly. Like if you look at an anthill, it looks chaotic to you, but... Mm-hmm. But if you're an ant, it makes perfect sense.
And that's the way the captain of the ship described it to us. He says, look, I know you guys aren't familiar with this, but this is just nothing more than controlled chaos. Because they're bringing airplanes up the elevator. As soon as they come up, the wings are folded. They unfold the wings. The guys are loading bombs. Pilot gets in there. They put him in a catapult. They roll up the deflector screen and he's gone.
It's craziness.
The catapult. Do not put me in a slingshot while I'm surrounded by metal. Pass. That is a hard pass.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't ever want to be in a slingshot.
True.
But now that we've talked about our stuff, we're going to do the best part of the whole show. Maybe not the best. I mean, I like to
The most
do
consistent
shots?
part?
All these shots. And here's your shot right here. Pod decks. So this one's a little bit interesting. How much would someone have to pay you for your little toe?
It's not going to happen.
Not gonna happen. Pinky toe, and you are jet setting millionaire.
Ain't going to happen.
Not even for 100 million?
Negative.
I mean, they say a pound of flesh. This is much less than a pound of flesh.
Yeah, but no.
Why do they want my pinky toe? And how are they willing to pay that much?
I don't know. This is... did I write this question? Joe Poddex? That's not my name.
I'll do it for 100 million.
100 million?
Yeah.
Really? Wow.
There you go, folks. 100 million. You know what? I'll
That's 1,000 million if they cut off all my toes.
100 million. That's a big old number. That's almost like a billion.
Almost.
Well, you know what? If they cut your pinky toe for 100 million, just remember Dad, who didn't want to give it up.
Yeah, exactly. We'll remember that. Like, oh, you wouldn't lose a toe to help out the family? That's it. You get nothing.
We could have 200 million right now, but no.
You get nothing. Enjoy that little pinky toe. What's it done for you?
What, you like your balance or something?
I don't even know. I mean, it wouldn't even have to be... I don't even think it'd have to be millions upon millions upon millions. I'm not saying I'd do it for like 25 grand or anything, but like...
350.
Tree fitty in. It's gone. Consider it gone.
I'll take it off myself.
All right, so maybe you don't want to maim yourself. How about to take a toenail?
Take a toenail?
Just like they just take your toenail.
Like rip my toenail off?
Sure.
I mean, there's lots of people who are tortured like that for free, so I'm still going to stick with 100 million.
100 million. There you go, guys. If you want Digna's toes, any of them.
No. Not toes. I have to be balanced.
Any one of her toes. Oh, well, in that
you
case.
You have a toe, not big toe.
In that case, she said you have to be balanced, so that 100 million is a BOGO. You get both pinky toes for her. There you go. So you're not, for 50 million doesn't get you one, but 100 million gets you two. That's what I'm hearing.
Correct.
Wow.
Correct. I don't know. I mean, 100 million to lose a toe, like, why not? No?
Ain't happening.
I mean, you know what? Some people get diabetes and they have to pay to have their entire lower leg ripped off. So
I have a friend.
Yeah.
I have a friend who just lost his right toe because of diabetes, and now they're looking at amputating his whole.
And he's got to pay for it.
Yeah.
So he ain't getting 100 million.
In this game, he can get a half a billion.
I went fishing with him this past summer.
Would you use his bait?
And his toe, and it was sad, so I don't know. That's why I say no.
I saw a guy, he was in an accident and his toe got chopped off. Mm-hmm. We didn't call the ambulance, we called the tow truck. And on that note, there you go. So not for all the money in the world, 100 million, and I don't know. We'll just go with a lot of money. It's a great question. Maybe not just pinky toe, but whatever.
Huvug. That's how the mattress is pronounced.
Huvug.
Huvug.
Okay, now I know.
Yep, it's the hoe
I'm gonna
bag.
go sleep in a huvak.
All right.
In a Hoover?
There you go. Because Hoover invented it. All right, guys. Be safe.
Don't be
Thank
gross.
you so much. And don't cut your pinky toe off.
Wash your
Only
hands. Don't be
for 100
gross.
million. Bye.
Bye.
This has been a Getting to Know Brews presentation.
Music provided by purpleplanet.com. That's purple-planet.com.